you guys, we are back with another K-drama Astro Corner. Why, do you ask? Because Ye Jin is real, and we have part 2. All right, you guys, we weren't going to do a part 2 because there's no point to do a part 2 if they are just people who work together. But real went to real. So, and we know y'all wanted to take a look at it. So we're going to dive into the astrology that I see in their charts. But if you want to dive in a little bit deeper with some more official astrology over on our Teespring merch page, I created a 15-page astro report that you can purchase for only $10 if you want to dive in a little bit deeper. But if you just want to hear what we have to say, let's get started, right? Okay, first and foremost, let's look at some pretty. Oh my God. Look at them. All right, we have Ye Jin, who is a Capricorn, born January 11th, 1982. And we have Hyun Bin, a Libra, born on September 25th, 1982. 1982 represent. And guys, they got together in real life. It got announced. It was the Dispatch reveal couple of 2021.
You guys, this really happened.
Really happened. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Marisa. I was a little surprised. I knew that they were very good friends, and I knew they were probably best friends. I did not. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. If it didn't happen right away, like in those first 15 fake outs, unless they just lied to us. And why would they lie to us? So that's why I'm confused. There's a lot of confusion. I'm just not going to lie to you. I'm a little confused as why it's being announced now.
Ye Jin has had a career for 20 years, right, and there has never been a public announcement about any relationship she's been in. And I mean, she's a grown woman. She's clearly been in relationships. So
right. And so the flip side of that is Hyun Bin has been in a handful of public relationships.
Very public.
So, I mean, you guys know, you guys have been burned, right? And so you guys know it a little bit better than we possibly do, but is it just because Ye Jin wanted to keep it quiet with that Capricornian energy? And so Hyun Bin with that Virgo Venus was just like, babe, whatever you want, I'm here to serve. Or, you know, I'm curious about that. So let's just dive in, Marisa, shall we? Let's just do a quick recap on each of their charts. She is a Capricorn sun, which we have said gives her that CEO of the zodiac vibe, right? As we've said it a million times, this lady knows what she wants and how to get it, and she's dedicated to the cause. Yeah. Then you move over, right? Then you move over here to her moon, which is in Leo, which gives her that child at heart, that fun vibe that we always see. That's her emotional stance, right? So that gives her that vibrant energy that we just love about Ye Jin. She then has a Mercury and a Venus over in Aquarius, which is this disruptor planet, right? It's about groups. It's about sudden insights. It's about that kind of rebel energy that we've talked about. And that's both her communication style and her relationship style. So I find that really fascinating. And we've always said this in all of the things. And then she's got her Mars over here in Libra. So she's got a lot of that air energy in her chart and a lot of fixed energy. So she's got a personality that really is, once she makes a decision, that's it. So that's what I find fascinating about this entire situation. And then her North Node is in Cancer, which is about the only, in their personal planets, again, as we have to say all the time, we have no birth time. So as with all of this, this is based totally, it's an incomplete reading because we can only talk about the planets and what signs they're in. We can't talk about the houses. So unless she has a water rising sign, this is the only water that she has in her personal planets. Now let's move on to Hyun Bin. He is a Libra sun. Again, that need to please, that need to make sure things are balanced. I am now saying with the reveal of them being officially in a relationship, I know at one point because it's always been on the fence whether he is a Capricorn moon or a Sag moon. And at one point I called it for a Sag moon. I'm now going back on what I said there and going with Cap moon because they did reveal their relationship because now it's an official relationship. So his moon and her sun, boom, So that is a really big, that for me is a kind of a tell. So I'm going to go with that for this. And I think you guys will like it because it gives us a lot. It gives us a lot of juice. He also has a Libra Mercury. So who he is and his life force and the way he communicates is in that Libra energy. So again, kind of going back to what I'm saying, he likes to keep the balance. He likes to make sure people are happy. So if Sun Ye Jin was like, we're not revealing this shit until I'm ready to reveal this shit, he was going to be like, okay, that's cool. Got it. As long as you're happy, which is good, right? And then you move over to his Venus in Virgo, guys, and this is really where we're getting that to be of service. So the way the Virgo loves, the way you feel loved by a Virgo Venus is they want to serve. They want to make sure that you feel taken care of. And so again, you get that energy of whatever you need, babe. And it's an earth sign, so it plays well with her Capricornian energy. So again, I feel like this was all on her. It was on her timing based on what's happening. And then he's got his Mars is over here in Sagittarius. So the way he takes action is this kind of wanderer, independent spirit. So again, he's okay with having the public relationships. He's all right with it. And so as soon as she was ready to like pull the trigger, he was ready to go. It wasn't an issue. Again, only has the water in the North Node in Cancer. So again, that moving towards that more nurturing energy for the both of them. So let's just take a look at their charts side by side to kind of get an idea of what kind of energies we're working with, right, Marisa? Because we've always kind of done that. So let's take a look. So guys, what I want you to pay attention to is that if you look at their personal planets, which is everything but the blue thing down at the bottom, which is the North Node, these two have the exact same elements. They've got a dash of earth, they've got a dash of fire, and a lot of air, right? So they kind of are almost, they're two peas in a pod is what I'm trying to say. And that is why from the beginning, you guys, I have said that they're best friends. Like they have their brains and their emotions and the way they communicate, like they're kind of all on the same wavelength. I'm not saying that they don't have some issues in their charts as we get into like the outer planets and stuff like that. But if you look closely at just their personal planets, which is all about who they are as people and not really the bigger life lessons of the outer planets, these two are best friends. At the end of the day, that's what I feel that they are. And that's what I've said from the beginning. Like they have very similar styles to the way they see the world, which of course they were going to get along. Of course they were going to really enjoy each other on set, right? And I think that we all saw that. So it kind of obviously bled through. So now we're going to kind of dive in and look at these aspects a little closer. So I kind of created this new grid. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, good. Ooh.
Right? Okay. So we have Sun Ye Jin at the top. We got Hyun Bin at the bottom. Again, you can kind of see the breakout. Sun Ye Jin's got a lot of yellow, which is air signs. She's got the Aquarian and she's got the Libra, right? Hyun Bin is all Libra in his air sign. So he doesn't have quite as much of that his mental air sign, because that's what air signs are. They're more mental. It's more about balance. It's more about intellectually relating to someone, the scales, like legal. So there's always an argument for each side. It's that type of thing. Sun Ye Jin's got both the Libran and the Aquarian. So even though she wants things to be balanced, she's also going to come out of nowhere with this brilliant insight and this brilliant idea, right? And then Hyun Bin, surprisingly to me, actually has more earth energy. He's got the well, if he does have the cat moon, I think he's got the cat moon, but he's got the Virgo Venus and she's got that Capricorn sun. So that plays really nicely with each other. And then they both got a dash of fire.
I think on balance, what we saw was their popping chemistry in the negotiation and in Crash Landing on You. But then we also got so much, and this is where I think people were really losing their minds, was you saw their beautiful friendship on that train tour they did for the negotiation.
Yes.
And it was his birthday. She had a cake at every stop. She was playing with Instagram or Snapchat filters the whole time. And he was there right by her side. And I think that's when, people were really just going, there's something going on here.
Something is going on. So with that being said, I'm not saying that there wasn't romance from the beginning. I'm not saying that, but there definitely was a bond right at the beginning, because let's look at some of these aspects. So as we said, she is a Cap Sun. If we go with this, is a Cap Moon. So the Moon Sun combination is considered one of the pinnacles of of relationship things where you genuinely like each other. So who I am as a person out in the world and who you are emotionally, they match, right? So you want that. So she's a Capricorn. Her worldview is Capricornian, right? His emotional world is Capricornian. So they instantly have that rapport because how he feels internally, she is giving to him externally, right? So the beautiful thing about that is that if you look at their charts with this combination, they have it twice. It's called a double whammy in astrology terms, right? So if he's that cap sun or cap moon, then you look and then so that's the conjunction, which is a harder aspect, but it also means that they are the same flavor. Then if you look at the other direction, he's that Libran sun and she's that Leo moon. So that whole thing is just that's the Lancelot Guinevere combination. He's Guinevere and she's Lancelot, right? So you got the king and the queen of the zodiac, and that's his sun and her moon. I think you see that. I think you see her I see her being a more aggressive, having more of that aggressive emotional stance, and him being more like, again, like I said before, like, hey, babe, whatever works for you because I'm here to please. Like,
and aggressive doesn't mean big and angry.
No, not at all.
Forthright.
Yeah. Exactly. Like she's got that Leo energy, which is I'm here, I have to be seen. And he's more like, I'm here to be admired and I appreciate that you admire me. And he's like, and you I also find very appealing. And so it's that kind of energy because they're not conjunct. And so you've got that in both directions. So of course that just gives them an extra pop of love, right? So we kind of have seen that throughout. Another big one that is plays really well and is about just genuinely liking each other, and I feel like we've mentioned this in each of them, is that Venus-Sun combination. It means who I am and how I relate to who I am and how you relate to people, again, is a match. There's a genuine liking to each other because you kind of see the world in the same way. So if we look at their combination, again, it's exactly the same. We have that again, and this time it's in a trine. So we have her sun in Capricorn and his Venus in Virgo. And then we've got his sun in Libra and her Venus in Aquarius. So you've got this combination again of a genuine enjoyment of being around each other. And I think we saw that play out with the train tour, all their behind the scenes stuff. So even if this didn't go from real to real, I would still say at the end of the day, they are going to genuinely think fondly of each other and be very good friends for a very long time. Right?
Yay.
So another thing, if you actually keep looking at this, so you've got the Sun Venus and you've got a double whammy again, right? And then with her chart, you then add on the fact that her Mercury is also in Aquarius. So his sun to her Mercury also plays really well with each other because he's got they have that the way he sees the world and the way she communicates in the world is a trine. So again, you've got that nice flow of information. So you've got the flow of the way I see the world and the way I am in the world with the way I want to communicate the world. Again, that really good, communication idea. So now let's get into some of the hotter aspects because those are more the BFF. We're going to be friends till we're 92 kind of. Those are the vibes of like the old couple kind of thing, right? Now, what are the things that I feel like tip this over into actual romance? The big ones are, as always, it's a sun. From the big ones in their chart, I should say, anything with Mars. And they have two of them. They have not only the Sun Mars, which is freaking fire, guys. Now, mind you, it's in air and it's in Libra, so it's not going to be like we have a Scorpio moon Mars, which would be just, I think they would have just eat each other up and put each other aside if that was the case. This is going to be it's going to be a more gentler hotness, right? But I think, again, it's what we saw in Crash Landing on You. It was more that scene when they confessed to each other when they were sitting in her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That
very
is
casual.
I mean, it was hot and we loved it and we were all, that is the combination of the Venus and then, you know what? I lied. Let's back up. I would put that scene in more the Venus Sun category. And the Sun Mars is that scene when they're running to that big iconic one where they're running to each other, right?
Oh my God.
Right?
Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking and lovely, and it was hot, and it was just like you just wanted them to like just go at each other, but it wasn't sexual per se, which is what that Sun Mars usually is. It's that hot kind of sexuality, but it was sensual, right? And so I feel like that's that more, the Libra energy kind of gives that more of a flavor to it. It's more of a beautiful hotness. Right? And then if we flip it over, because now we're going to go into the fire sign aspect of this. And this is the fire sign aspects of this, and that's more of a moon Mars. So that one is more, it's going to be hotter. So I think maybe it's the combo of these two that made that scene so heartbreaking and so visceral there at the end, right? I think that's a good word for it. It's a very visceral feeling between the fire and the air and all of that Mars, moon, and sun energy. So those are the really big hot energies that I see between the two of them in their charts. Again, I have to keep reiterating, and this is all A, for entertainment purposes only, and B, this is only one person's interpretation of their chart. And this is also with very limited information. We do not have a rising sign. We do not have a lot of things that could cause some friction between the two. And again, these are natal charts. And as they're almost 40 years old, as people, things have happened called transits to this energy that has mutated it to this point. So these are just basic concepts. I just have to say that.
So when this news broke at the very beginning of the year,
yes,
my first thought was Captain Ree is coming to save us at the end of 2020.
Yeah, right? Thank you, Captain Ree. So amazing.
I know.
They were just so good. Oh my God.
This is like the biggest news. It's like, particularly for Sun Ye Jin, I think she's been paired with every male actor that she's co-starred with ever. Because listen, she's a beautiful, fantastic actress. And so these two are professional artists, they're actors. And so, you know, for this to bridge from drama into real life, it's just slayed us all, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And one of the things that they said is that they kind of fell in love by going out golfing, which I can see that, because again, going back to that Mars energy, that's all about action. And so the fact that they like to get out together, and the fact that they have a sun Mars, trine, and they've got the trine with moon Mars. So emotionally, how they take action and who they are, you know, personally, they both understand each other and like to do a lot of the same things, like action. Like that's what Mars is all about. And the fact that they've got those Mars aspects, I'm not surprised that maybe things tipped over into something else while they were like hanging out, just being pals, right? So that makes total sense.
It's the best.
It is. I love it. Are you kidding me? Like she, because of all that Aquarian energy, she is going to actually need someone to be, in my personal opinion, looking at her chart, that Aquarian energy kind of makes you need to have that friendship within your relationship. Like that's just a key thing. Like it's got to be, because Aquarius is all about big groups. It's about getting along with groups. It's about being a part of a group. It's about that energy, and it's about the higher consciousness of that energy. So she's going to need in her life that person that she can relate to on a daily level, like that type of stuff. And so she's going to need someone that's like her best friend and her equal. It's not going to be, she's not going to ever be, and she's got that Leo energy, so she's never going to be that wilting flower. That's never going to happen. So she needs someone who equals her. And that's why I think that works so well.
That's right, because she's photographed a lot with her group of friends. Like they seem really tight. It includes Gang Hyo Jin, and they travel internationally together. Like she's got a solid core group of friends who seem to be really loyal to each other.
Right. And that's really key for her. So the fact that she is now saying he's one of my people, that's big. Got all the good, we got all the pretty out, right? So if you want to stop here, you can stop here. But if you want a little bit of deeper astrology, we're going to start now look at some of those outer planets that give us a little bit more, fill it in a little bit more. And the big one that we want to look at is Saturn, because without any Saturn in your chart, any Saturn connections in your chart, almost any astrologer out there will say that even though the relationship might be like beautiful and it's super hot and it's explosive, it's going to be brief. It's not going to go the distance, because you need those Saturn elements to kind of bind you together, right? But the problem, or the goodness of Saturn, is with those Saturn elements, you have to kind of go through a trial of, trial by fire, or trial by whatever it is, to learn the lesson. And if you can learn the lesson and get through it together, you're good. Like you're good to go. If you can't, that's where breakups happen, right? So do they have Saturn? Do they have Saturn connections? So first and foremost, let's just look. They both are born in 82, so they're going to have the exact same. Their outer planets, I looked at it. Their outer planets are in all the same signs. So there's not going to be any difference. So clearly they're going to have a conjunction there. So we have to look farther than that because it's going to be different. So where are their connections? Let's first look here. So the nice thing about their Saturn connections right now, if you look at this one, is they play nicely with each other. There's no hard aspect with their Saturn, but they have the connections. One is a sextile and one is a trine. The trines are a little bit easier. That's where all the yellow is. They're a little bit easier. And so, but it's a nice connection, right? So his Saturn to her Venus is a really nice one. The other, and then you've got his Mars to her Saturn is a sextile. So it's a little bit more, it's not frictions per se, but it gives them a little bit more to work with and kind of work out between the two of them. But it's a really solid energy. What I will say about a lot of those connections, and if you do check out the report in our Teespring store, what they say is that the Saturn connections, especially a Saturn-Venus connection, there's a little bit of karma and past life issues there, if you believe in that, and I do. So the fact that they clicked so quickly and so apparently is not surprising to me with this Saturn aspect. So we've got that. So then you look at a little bit ones that are maybe going to be a little bit more challenging between them. So we're going to go here. So if you look at this one, we've kind of filled out some of these things. So now you've got Ye Jin's Saturn is conjunct his sun and his Mercury. Now, with the conjunction, you've got, that's considered a hard aspect. So while it's the same energy, sometimes that friction is too much. It's too much of the same energy. So who he is going to be a little bit stifled by Ye Jin's Saturn because they're the exact same. So Ye Jin is going to at times want to kind of be kind of like, you know, are you sure you want to do that? Like, are you sure? And then you've got the same thing with Hyun Bin's Saturn on her Mars. So how she's taking action, he's going to be a little bit prickly and maybe point out why that's not the greatest thing. And so there's a little bit of friction there when you've got that conjunction. Again, if they can work through that, and get beyond that, and again, they're almost 40, so I feel like they have this ability. It's not like they're 25 and you're still trying to figure out your way in the world. They've been through it. So they definitely have this. It's kind of, it comes with age, but these are some issues that, I mean, they may arise, they may not, but these are the binding issues, and they also are the ones that may cause some future problems if they have not already worked those out. And then the ones that are even bigger than that, because the conjunction, while it is a hard aspect, it's challenging, but you at least have the same energy going at it. We do have a couple of squares to the Libra in the Capricorn. So again, look at the Libra yellow to the Capricorn green, and those are squares. And so again, you have great challenges, but if they can overcome those great challenges, they have a great reward. And that's the beauty of Saturn. So that's where the bonding comes in. So if you can work through whatever that is, and maybe that's why it took so long for them to come out officially as a couple, is maybe they were working through what they wanted the relationship to be. Is it moving towards marriage? Is it just something that they're working on? Like, what is that? So maybe they've already worked through a few of these, which is why they decided to be Dispatch's 2021 couple. So, but those are just some things. If you're going to go a little bit deeper and a little bit wider, you have to take a look at, because we all want it to be love, you know, just beauty and roses and crash landing on you all the time. But real life is that you kind of need some Saturn to bind you together, right? So you need that glue to kind of be sticky and mucky and do that.
It's a really interesting time that they announced this relationship, because Crash Landing on You was a year ago, right? And we're in a pandemic. So, you know, they're not, I mean, South Korea is still open for business, but shooting is probably curtailed. I think the only thing they've announced for her is that she's going to be part of a Hollywood project.
Right.
So that's going to bring her here to the United States, I believe, or perhaps
right.
internationally. So
with you saying that, I find that really intriguing, because the next thing that I want to say is we have to look at their Uranuses. They both have it in Sagittarius. And this is where I foresee, if there's my personal opinion, if these guys don't go the distance, it's going to be because of this Uranus energy. Uranus is all about sudden disruption, right? It is ruled by Aquarius. Theirs is both in Sagittarius. So if you look at that idea alone, not only do you have the big disruptor, the Uranus, right? And it's ruled by Aquarius, so it's also about great insight, and you get sudden insight, and you get all of that type of stuff. But it is a great disruptor. So, and it's in Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius is about independence, and it's about the wanderer. And so it's about freedom and all of those things. So the fact that they both have this in Sagittarius, this planet in Sagittarius, that's the one place where I think that each of them might just be, they both have enough of that energy to just kind of go their own paths. Like, just be like, this was great, it was a lot of fun, but we're done. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, this isn't, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because of that energy. So then you take a look, then you jump in and take a look at where her Mars is, which again, taking action, her Uranus is conjunct his Mars. So you've got that hard aspect of that outer planet of disruption smack dab on his action planet. Like, it is a tight conjunction. So I could foresee this relationship going the distance because of all that Saturn energy, but also being done in 6 months because she decides, or he decides, I got to go do this movie for a year and a half here, and we'll see what happens. Like, if we can, like, it's the long distance is working or it's not working. So kind of exactly what you just said. So I kind of can see both.
Yeah, it's a funny time, right? Because we're all mostly sheltering at home. So they're probably been together a lot. But when the world starts opening up again and they start going back to work, and if she's going to be here and he's going to be there, I don't know. I mean, it's that way for all of us, really. So
exactly. But they've got this energy that kind of gives them both this need to be free. They both have it in their charts. And then so let's just keep moving through it, right? So let's look at their other planets. They've got a bunch of ones that play really nicely. So you've got the trines to her, they're all the red, and then you've got the red to yellow, so you've got the air to the fire. So it's a nice combination. But if you really look at it, especially with all of her Aquarian in her chart, like, this is a woman that does not, being tied down is not what really works for her, as we've seen. Like, it's just not. I'm not saying that the relationship isn't solid, or they're not best friends, or they're not, going to get married. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm also saying, don't be surprised if she suddenly is like, I'm done. I just not, because she's got that Aquarian, she's got a lot, her chart is very, very Aquarian. And so it's not that they don't want relationships. That's not what I'm saying, but there is a certain level of freedom that is needed for them to feel good about whatever situation that they are in. And then he's got to let that extra Sag energy, which again gives you that wandering independent energy. Now, mind you, they do have those grounding they got those grounding planets that give them more of that, wanting to stay home and be together. But they do have a lot of that mental stimulation and wanting to be kind of out in the world. So I'm just saying that if we're gonna look at both sides, we gotta also. I'm just giving you guys, it's kind of the more of the long term thing. I can see them sticking together, and I can also see it being over in less than a year. It just depends on how well it honestly just depends on how much each of them is willing to give the other person the freedom that the other person needs. Like, how comfortable are each of them in that freedom that is required. Right.
And these are big overview possibilities,
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just showing you guys what I see, right? And again, it's great. I think they can be a power couple times a bajillion, because that Uranus in Sagittarius also gives them a thing to wanting to be on the world stage and explore new ideas and bring this level of humanity to, like, the masses, right? So they've got that. Like, they could be like a huge power couple for sure. And out in the public, because that's also something they want to bring it to more people. They want the big groups, right? Because that's what the Sagittarius energy is about. But they both are two people who need a certain amount of freedom in their lives. So that's something just to keep an eye on. But you guys, I mean, listen, this is my favorite photo of them, and I think this photo sums it all up. They freaking adore each other. Like, this has been my favorite photo since it came out. And I feel like this photo, to me, symbolizes everything about their relationship. It's super fun. They're clearly comfortable with each other. This photo seems very natural to me. I mean, listen, I hope it goes the distance because they make my heart happy. So I hope it's real. I hope it's good. I hope it goes the distance.
We shall see.
Right. So, all right, you guys, there it is. The Bingin' Part 2 update. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let us know in the comments below. And if you want to dive a little bit more into the astrology of it all, we do have that report over on Teespring that you can check out. It's a lot of fun. We're the KThree. I'm Jen.
I'm Marisa, and thank you for being in our K-drama clubhouse.
And if you need more Hyunbin in your life, because who doesn't, go ahead and check out this list right here of all of our Hyunbin recommendations, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.